Hey Ryan, I know it's a little weird to record a video for a customer, but I'm used to people walking into the store and being able to talk them through things. And unfortunately, because of just insane restrictions, I can't actually like type out advice that would sound like medical advice. So I have to be very careful what I say or suggest to people, and I have to be careful what I can put on the site. But when somebody has like an issue that I know that I can help with, without them having to like scratch all over every single product or, all over the internet searching for like a product that actually works, then I try to do my best to do that. So, what I just sent you, basically, I think you're going to be stoked when you get it, because I read your email and I usually just kind of have a gut feeling, when I'm like, I know what I should send this person. So I sent you a box of what I would send if like a friend, like one of my best friends emailed me and said like, hey, I'm having anxiety issues. One thing about like when you're doing research for PTSD, so I come from a family of all military vets. So all my uncles were either in Vietnam or what was it, Operation Desert Storm? I don't know. Either way, all of them came back with some varying degrees of PTSD, some worse than others. But I know that there are different types of PTSD and different causes. Sorry, my daughter's watching TV in the kids' room next to my office. And they can have all different effects on people. So when you're dealing with something like PTSD, you have to break it down into the parts that you're personally experiencing. So I know an exaggerated startle response is a number one, which can cause anxiety. Like, you're at the grocery store, someone drops something, and you're like, your guts are, in your throat, and you just can't handle being around people. So you need something to sort of like help put a buffer between you and the things that might trigger your PTSD, but you also can't be like super duper stoned all the time, which is probably how you landed on Delta 8. So Delta 8 is kind of like if you ever smoked a sativa that kind of like just clouds right here in front of your eyes. That's kind of what Delta 8 I feel like does to me. But it can be like a little too overwhelming. Like when I first started testing Delta 8 a couple years ago, before picking it up for the site, I called it duster weed, until I found people that were like actually doing it properly and like using sound science. So I find that PTSD and especially anxiety can be sort of system wide. So it's important to sort of like balance out just Delta 8, because when you have just an isolate, then you're only getting Delta 8. You're not getting what you would get. So this is without THC. This is some of the most beautiful hemp flower, honestly. It smells like berries. Let me not put my whole face in here. This is actually my private stuff. So we don't breathe all over our customers' hemp, I promise. So the reason that I sent this flower is because what most people don't know and what people don't publish online is that when you have a super high percentage of CBD in your flower, when you smoke it, it's going to sort of transform into what you need. So a lot of people laugh at hemp flower, but I've had friends be like, I've gotten more stoned off of CBD flower than any other flower, because everybody's brain and chemistry is different. But this shouldn't get you super stoned, but what it should do is accomplish the same thing that you're probably looking for with the Delta 8 juice, which is just a buffer, kind of to help calm some of the symptoms that PTSD can cause. Because I know that on the more severe end, it can cause gastrointestinal issues. That would be CBG, that would help stomach. But the other thing is that a lot of vapable Delta 8 products don't have the terpenes. So when you're smoking like one of these flowers, you're going to have the terpene blend. Terpenes like essential oils. I know a lot of it is like woo and nonsense, but the terpenes in cannabis are there for a reason. So I usually recommend anybody that's just using Delta 8 combine it with like a broad spectrum CBD oil, gummy, whatever, and you're going to have a much more balanced effect. So I sent you sample sizes of a couple of different CBD brands. I sent you a couple samples of Kratom. Normally I would never recommend Kratom to somebody because it's completely unregulated. Most of it is just not safe for people. And it can cause, like, I've known people that, gas station Kratom and next thing you know, you're throwing up. But a very good friend of mine owns a company in Denver, and they do probably some of the cleanest formulations of Delta 8 CBD that I've ever seen. So it's the one product that I actually recommend. So it might help. If not, whatever. So it's kind of just like a fun sampler pack that I sent over that might help you find some sort of relief. And it's a good way to sort of play around with different products. That it's so hard when you have especially a multi-symptom problem like PTSD to find help using like these Lego block treatments. So you have CBD, CBG. It can be a little bit overwhelming. So full spectrum is, if you get a full spectrum oil, it's going to be the closest thing to this flower. So Healthy Roots Hemp is a Rick Simpson oil under the tongue. So if you're vaping CBD and you're not getting any results or benefit from it, I would try to move toward either an edible product or a full flower product from somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Because I hate when I see people like give up too quickly before they find the thing that could have helped them, because people aren't making good products. So hopefully you find something good in there. In the little, you're gonna miss the mail because I didn't hear back from you. So I was like, you know what? I would hate to think that this person's been waiting for weeks with no relief. So I was just like, well, let me just put together a care package. So that should hold you over until Boosted gets in probably next week. So hopefully that long tangent helps make sense of what I sent. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me. Our company is run by real people and we know what we're talking about. So we're always happy to help.